All right, how's it going, guys? So today's video we're not working on. I just got in driving the E90, and so my E90 is a 2007 328i, so N52 engine, X-Drive, GM transmission, because it's X-Drive, so I didn't get the ZF those years. Here's what the situation is. We had problems here a while back. You guys remember, if you've been with the channel for a few months, this car had I sold this car and I bought it back. When I bought it back, it had a cheap oil filter in it. The oil filter was like from a quick change place from China, right? And the oil filter had collapsed and it cut off, I guess, somewhat oil pressure to the Vandal solenoids. Well, the car wasn't starved of oil really, but it was not advancing timing right. It was causing all kinds of weird issues. It was causing PCV issues and all kinds of weird crap. Well, I changed the oil filter out, and slowly the car started to come back to normal, right? And not like totally back to normal, but it kind of stopped doing a lot of stuff it was doing. However, in the midst of all that, we acquired a permanent check engine light for the Vanos. I think it was Vanos intake side. Throw in a code, you could reset it, you could drive it a day or two and then come back, right? And you know, at this point I'm not really sure on that. It seems like N52s in the very end all end up with a permanent Vanos code, and there's really not much you could do about it. I'm not sure if the timing slips a little bit. I'm not sure if just the Vanos units themselves are bad. We replaced the Vanos solenoids, cleaned all the screens, done everything, put legit solenoids in it. The car like runs fine now, right? You can take it. I just drove it almost an hour each way, so almost 2-hour drive. Didn't really have any problem, but we're gonna put the head cam on. I'm gonna show you what the car drives like, and this is the same thing every N52 drives like. I just, you know, I don't know. It's just mind-boggling. I think I'm trying to fix something that's not fixable. So we're gonna start off with the obvious first. It's still warm, I just got home. It's not ticking now, but it'll start ticking. So let's hit on the highway and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Like when you start it, it always goes up, idles up and down. And we see that a lot with N52s. My black car did that. Every other one I've ever driven's done that to some extent. Not always. I notice when I have this car in the shop in the AC, I start it up and I back it out in the heat, it just freaks out. The tack's going like this, right? So I don't know. I mean, the way this car runs off the Vandal solenoids, it's very, very, very sensitive. What I don't like about it, like when you drive an M54, when you drive pretty much any other car, the M5, anything at all, the throttle response is the same all the time. And like the pedal is more connected to the engine. But this car, like most newer cars, there's a lot has to happen from when you push the pedal to when it actually opens the throttle, if it does, right? I don't really hear it ticking right now, but it'll start. Don't worry. We'll come back. I'll show you. So as we're going, you know, go up and down. Like I'm just easing into it, and it's taking off pretty good now. It's actually running better now than what it has in the past. But I noticed with my black E60, if you get going 20 miles an hour and just jam the pedal to the floor, the accelerator to the floor, half the time it'll take off, half the time it'll do absolutely nothing, right? And this car, let's see if it'll make any power now. I mean, I guess, right? It's not like crazy fast or anything like that. But there again, we got X-Drive and a lot of stuff. Here's what really annoys me, and we've been having problems with this thing registering. I'm not making a bitch session here, I'm just saying these are some of the problems you're gonna have to deal with. Not registering the oil correctly. So I went through and replaced the sensor, recalibrated everything with a legit sensor, like legit. And now, if we go in here and check the oil, it was saying a quart low this past week, right? I'm like, okay, N52 is known for using some oil. You know, we'll go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt. Let me get into it here. And it's still showing low. Here's the problem. See where it's at? It's what? 2 bars low. Holy crap, all the freaking dust. It's 2 bars low from all the way to the top. All right, so it was like that before I left earlier. I put a quart in before I left. It didn't move. Didn't move at all. Okay. Well, so now we're looking at, are we low on oil? Are we not low on oil? Are we overfull on oil? It's just all stuff you don't know. If you're overfull on oil very much at all, you'll know. It'll get into the PCV and smoke like hell and stay smoking for days or weeks until it all gets cleaned out. So that's the situation, but just driving along in town, you know, hitting the gas off and on, you never get the same thing. The power just all over the place. You just never know. And this isn't just, it's kind of just like that. There's nothing you can really do about it. You turn the AC off, it's a little better, but not really. So just to recap on the way back to the house here, this car is 156, almost 157,000 miles on it. When I bought it at 148, first time I bought it. So we had to do all the water pump stuff, pretty much all the coolant lines, the valve cover, coil packs, spark plugs, starter went out, the X-Drive front dry shaft was bad, front CV axles, control arms, all the brakes been done once, they need to be done again. I got everything to do, just haven't done it. And that's just the start of it, like many other things. This didn't even have the more common E90 problems. The JBE bad, didn't have none of that. FRM module bad, didn't have none of that. It doesn't really have any of those normal problems that these have. Check the fan motor wires, all that's good. You know, as far as that goes, the transmission's all been serviced. The transmission, the GM box, it's off and on. Sometimes it shifts great, sometimes it shifts horrible. When it's cold, it's like every other GM transmission in the world. Solenoids are slow in it. Solenoids probably need to be replaced. You know, 460 LE, 430 LE, 480, all that stuff has all the same problem, right? It's kind of all the same solenoids and everything like that. So let's get back to the house and we'll see if this thing's gonna be ticking. Just standard N52 ticking. I mean, either your car does it or it don't, but if it's 08 and newer, a lot less likely chance you're gonna have the ticking noise, but still, you could have it any year, anytime. Oh yeah, and we're doing that too. That's a whole nother freaking complete and total freaking nightmare. So the moral of the story is the N52 an unfixable car? Whereas in E60, E90 or what? I tell you what, if you need something to run without the check engine light on, don't buy that engine. I promise you that. What's more expensive to run? That E90 or this E60 M5? Right now, that E90 is more expensive to run. And a lot of you gonna scoff at that, but it seems like N52, either you get a good one or you don't. And, you know, to stop it from ticking, I've already replaced the eccentric shaft sensor before, not to stop them ticking, but to make it stop ticking, I've already replaced the exhaust camshaft too. And, you know, that's big money. That's like $350, $400 just for the camshaft and exhaust camshaft and ledge box. The intake cam is probably what's ticking right now. And the intake lifters, you can't, the ledge box on that's made onto the head, so you need a new head. The problem is a new head's like $600, a new engine's like $550. So there you go. But it runs fine. So it's like, what do I do? But then again, I want to sell that car. Am I going to be able to sell it like it is? Like it runs fine, but it's ticky. People aren't going to like that. But if you go through and buy a new engine for it and spend a lot of time putting the engine in, it might tick just as bad or worse as that one. And that's kind of where you're at with it. They're kind of unsellable cars. And if you go on Facebook or Craigslist or wherever you buy your cars at, E90s is the most sold car on there. Like there's no more. That's the most BMWs on there is E90s. They're everywhere. Everybody's got them for sale. And it's just a weird, bizarre situation. So that's my deal. Like maybe I get $4 grand out of that car. It's a pretty nice car, but can it run forever and never have a problem? I really don't know, you know? And that's it. Like the E39, we sold it. It's doing really good, by the way. If I think about it, he sent me some pictures. I posted some pictures of that car. I'm really happy with that transaction. He's really happy with it. Like that was a rock solid car, right? But these cars, you know, I really don't know. I really, truly don't know. That's going to be it for today's video. It's just my thoughts and opinions. That's what's happening today here at Nathan's BMW Workshop. Take it for what it is. That's it. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you later.